I want to encourage you folks to really pay attention to you. Now, I know most people are not going to do it. I know that, but a few will, and a few are doing it already. But one of the ways that my country is able to be destroyed is the brainwashing that has taken place. And my producer, Sean, was talking about this morning. It's like, I remember when I was younger, black people were called Negroes. Them there Negroes. And then they were called black and proud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And then they changed it from that to Afro-American, something like that. And if you're not aware of yourself, you go along with the changes from word to word to word, and you don't realize that somebody is changing the words for a reason. Who is doing it and why? And why am I blindly going along with it? How come I'm a human being that will not step away from the crowd and see them? Why? Who's doing this? And what is their purpose? Why are they changing the word? It reminds me of, at one time, as long as I've been on the earth, most Christians knew that, and I thought about this, most Christians knew that Jesus, the Christ, is the Son of God, of the Father, right? And not the Father, but the Son. And for the most part, that's what you knew, that what you was taught. Nobody talked about Jesus being God, for the most part. And then somewhere down the road, somebody wanted control of the people, and they decided to tell the folks that Jesus is God. And so the crowd, those who refused to be an individual, they jumped on board, and they started to believe and say that Jesus is God. And now it's a theme. It's the primary thing in Christianity that Jesus is God. And you tell the people, no, Jesus is not God. He admits to being the Son of the Father. No, he is God. Look at Genesis, because whomever changed it, they used that. In the beginning, there was the Word was God, God was the Word is God, kind of a thing, right? And so now the Christian crowd saying the same thing, except for those one or two who pulled away from the crowd, and they see for themselves that Jesus is the Son of the Father. No man get to the Father except through the Son. Isn't that amazing? And so, likewise, in the secular world, they have changed the meaning of everything. They changed the words without you realizing. At one time, you didn't even hear the word racism. It did not exist. It did not exist. And then as a result of that, most people were getting along. They were just fine. Well, of course, you're going to always have some angry people that's not getting along. But most people were getting along because they had not been hypnotized with the word racism. But then somebody came along and decided, you know what? We need to control the massive. We need to control the people. We need to divide them. So let's change. Let's use the word racism. Let's use that word. Let's keep saying it and saying it for everything. And so the crowd forgot again that it's a spiritual battle and not a physical battle, and they start using the word racism. And now racism has been used so much all the time about the enemies of God, of good, that everybody, for the most part, not all, not free thinkers, but most people think of racism now. They don't think of the spiritual battle. And you come along, you try to tell them, no, it's not physical, it's spiritual. That included the Christians too, right? And they won't believe it. No, it's racism. Well, where's the proof that it's racism? Give me the proof that it's racism. And they can't chalk up the truth or proof that it's racism, but they just believe it anyway because they refuse to think for themselves. And so they are being guided by brainwashing thoughts. That's why once you're truly born again of the Father, your heart changes from anger to love. Anger is hate, right? You start to see and overcome words. You're no longer affected by words. So when the children of the lie use words, you don't fall into that trap anymore because you overcome the words. You overcome the world. And you still know that the battle is spiritual. No matter what the crowd say, you still know and see that it's spiritual and not physical. Because you are in the light now. Your heart has been changed. And you're in the light. And you can see, because you see the battle going on in you, in your mind, and you see the spiritual warfare that's happening. And you start to see and understand it's the same thing that's happening inside of others, outside of you. It is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to me, though I understand it now. I understand it now. It's mind-blowing how easy it is to brainwash people. Angry people are already brainwashed. Anyone that has anger is already brainwashed, right? And so the children of the lie, they just build on that brainwashing that's already there. And it is dividing America from within and destroying it. Because most people would never, ever, but never, ever be willing to stand alone and to be an individual. They don't want to be free. That's too scary to be free. It feels comfortable to fit in with the crowd. And even though you're fitting in with the crowd, you're still not comfortable. You still have fear, inward conflict and fear. You're still lonely. You're still suicidal. No matter what you do to try to pay off the crowd to be with you, you still have it. Fear and stuff. And you're unwilling to be alone. What a mess, huh? You're being brainwashed. And the only way that you're going to overcome the brainwashing, you got to overcome anger. It's impossible to overcome the brainwashing without overcoming anger first. Because when you have anger, which is hate, which is judgment, which is playing God, you're subject to the world. You can't help it. There's nothing you can do about it. We are not in control of anything, and we can't change anything of ourselves, right? So if you have anger, a little bit iota of an anger, you're brainwashed and you are controlled. And you have fear. And you go along with the crowd to try to feel better, get along, and it doesn't work. You don't know that standing alone is where the peace is. Standing alone is where the peace. It's amazing to watch the majority of people being pulled down into the drain, and they don't see themselves going down into it. You say, no, stop. You're being pulled down into a hole. No, I'm not. Well, where you going there? I'm going on my own. I'm with the folks. And it doesn't matter if you have anger, you're going to take one side or the other. You'll be a Democrat liberal, or you'll be a Republican so-called conservative. But both are brainwashed. There's no difference. All you're doing is taking sides, because when you have anger, you're so outwardly living, you have to take sides, one or the other. You don't stand in the middle and be an individual. You can't stand in the middle and be an individual. Because when you have anger, standing in the middle to be an individual is scary. But if you don't have anger, standing in the middle to be an individual is amazing. It really, really is. You can overcome the world if you wanted to. It's right here, right now, for all who will receive it. Not some, but all, but most won't. They will not. The gift has been delivered, and they won't open the package and accept the gift. Eternal life is right here, right now. It's not over yonder. It's not in the crowd. It's not over there. It's not in books. It's not in JoJo. It's in you. Eternal life is with you right now. But you must be willing to overcome the world, the intellect. You must be willing to overcome hate. Anger. Anger is hatred. And anger is of your father, the devil. I don't care what you say. No one who has anger has love. Yes, you have that fake emotional love, but that's not love. That's hate. Love, real love, which comes from the Father, is not a feeling. It's not up and down. You have the love in this moment, and then the next moment you have the hate, and then you have the love. That's not it. It's not it. You don't have it. Emotions, emotions are not love. Emotions come from hate. And emotions are fake, too. It's all about you while you're pretending it's about someone else. Think about funerals. How many funerals have you gone to where a family member or a close friend expired, and you sat there and boo-hoo and carried on? In your mind, which is of the devil, was telling you that, oh, you crying over this person died. But when you really think about it, it's all about you, because the person dead. The person don't feel anything. What the? You crying over for your own selfish self. You're going to miss this person. You need that person. It's you, but you pretend it's for the other person. And then the people that's looking around, seeing you crying and carrying on and kissing the casket, they say, oh, that person's so sad. Go hold that person. Give that person a tissue. Tissue, please. And they come over to give you a tissue to blow your nose. And now you feel real sad because somebody is watching you act out, thinking that you love the person that died, and you can care less about that person. You got to get to know yourself. You got to see how phony you are. Really. It's all about yourself. And I mentioned this before. Why do you think women with children, females with children, either married or not married, they don't want to be home with no children? But you hear them on the TV, oh, I love my children. It's about the children. They lying. Because if it was about the children and not about them, they would be home with the children. And then you think, oh, that woman loves her children. No, she doesn't. And even when she's home with the kids, she beat up on the kid with the lack of patience, turning them from their fathers, yelling at them, controlling them, giving the kids the impression that they are victims. They don't love the children. It's all about them. That's what anger will do to you. They want you divided. And if ever they found a word that will divide you, it's the word racism. And as a result, the attack upon white people is through the roof now. And nobody cares. The attack on white people, especially by the blacks, upon the whites is mind-blowing. It's through the roof. But they're not going to report that in the media. They only report it when once in a while a white person should attack a black person. Then you hear about it on liberal media, conservative media, everywhere. The government comments on it. But when it's the other way around, and it's through the roof for the whites, a genocide is being committed upon whites right now. And you hardly hear about it. Look how stupid those people are acting in New York over that little black guy that was allegedly choked or whatever. They're carrying on, and they don't care about that voice. They're brainwashed people out there protesting and carrying on because they have heard the word racism. I guarantee you, if it was a black guy that was accused of stopping this guy when he was on the train in New York, and the guy was black, you wouldn't hear anything about it. You wouldn't even know about it. But because it was a white guy being accused, it's everywhere. You've been brainwashed. Now you can't protect yourself on the train from the blacks if you're white. Because black on black can kill one another, no problem. Oh, that's the hood. They want you angry and divided, and they've used the word racism. And anytime white people say anything that look like it's the truth about the blacks, they'll attack. They'll call racist. Watch this from Yahoo. Kayleigh McEnany, the Fox News host set to take Tucker Carlson's time slot, was blasted over a racially offensive joke about protesters. Watch this from Fox.
We begin with the growing protest over the death of Jordan Neely. He was killed Monday after he boarded a New York City subway train. He reportedly started yelling and threatening passengers. A man identified as a former Marine tackled him and put him in a chokehold.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now! If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, burn it down!
Justice or they'll burn it down. Well, at least they have rhythm. Meantime, progressive Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley has already described Neely's death as a lynching.
At least they have rhythm, she said. And they're mad at her for saying that. That's racist. And we all know that the one thing black people do have, they may not know how to fix anything and make it better, only know how to destroy it. But they can dance and they can sing. They have rhythm. That's the truth. That's not racist. And those people out there protesting, shouting, they are blind. They can't see. They don't know they look stupid out there doing that. They won't go to work. They want you to lower the standards so they can have access. But they'll go out and destroy, burn it down, they say. About that. And they look stupid out there carrying on in New York rather than going to work, making a life for themselves. They don't know that guy or anything. It's just that the guy that attacked or tackled that guy was white. That's all they need to hear. And the media then put out, oh, look. And they run out and protest. They don't care about the story. They already taken side because they're angry. Overcome your anger so you can be free. The spirit of anger is evil, and you're brainwashed. I want to show you something else how dumb these people are. And they have no clue. They don't know that they're brainwashed. How you get mad at somebody because they say, oh, they have rhythm? You can say whatever you want about the whites, no big deal. I want to show you another example of brainwashed, nutty people. This is from the Blade. A mob upset over Jordan Neely's death clashed with police and blocked the subway track on Saturday. Watch this from Twitter.
Justice for Jordan Neely! We don't get it! Shut it down! We don't get it! Shut it down! What do we want? Justice!
Do you think the person who did the chokehold should be arrested?
Arrested, of course. He should be found guilty. It's outrageous. Why isn't he even here? Believe me, know how fast they would have found him or killed him on the spot if he was black?
We're just outraged as a community that there has been no arrest or formal bringing of charges against the man who's yet to be identified who killed Jordan Neely.
You can't stop the revolution. You can't stop the revolution. Jordan Neely. We don't get no weed.
Your officers took black lives. Your officers took black lives. Your officers took black lives. Your officers.
We don't tear the city up if we don't get some change.
Yes,
we will. That's right.
Jordan!
See that? That's what's wrong with the black folks. They're angry. Not at white folks, at their mamas and daddies, mamas and papas. They have no love. The anger you see in them and the destruction you see them carrying out in this country, it starts in the home. But they're brainwashed and don't know it, and so they go out into the world, and the people that are controlling them tell them it's racism. And they don't pause to think. And see how the blacks are out there destroying? And those liberal whites that are out there helping them do it? Both are brainwashed. Somebody using those liberal whites to gather up the blacks by pretending they're supporting them to destroy. What that sound like rhythm, like a rolling stone is rhythm. Remember that song? It's in my bone.
I've never heard that.
Really? What the? How old am I? It's a double standard in America today in that the attack is out, just out in your face toward the whites in their own country, by the way, because we all know that America was founded and built by the whites. And these people come here and they suck the life, the energy out of the country, and then they want to destroy it. They don't add to it. They just want to destroy it. So they're in New York carrying on over this guy that was put into, according to the reports, put into a chokehold because he was acting out on this train, according to the report. And now he dead. He dead. And they out there protesting. You don't see these people carrying on like this in Chicago where black on black crime is through the roof, Philadelphia, New York, South Central LA, Compton, Gary, Indiana, and all over the country, wherever the blacks are ruling. Nothing but black violence on black. No, nothing. Those lives don't matter. They're being used and don't know it. Here's a little history about this guy, Neely. This is from Newsweek. Neely record has 42 prior arrests. According to Newsweek, the little black guy had 42 prior arrests. He black. 4 for alleged assault. 42 prior arrests, 4 for alleged assault. While others involved accusations of transit fraud and criminal trespass. Isn't that amazing? But that don't matter. A white man did it. It doesn't matter. A white man did it. If a black man had done that and it had the same prior record, it was no big deal. You wouldn't even hear about it. And those blacks out there protesting would be somewhere trying to get something free from the white man. They would be trying to make you lower the standard so they can get access. They call it lowering the standard to get access now, but they call it making opportunities. Not where we can earn it, but we can get it for nothing. 42 prior arrests. The Neely guy. And I just want to remind you, we mentioned this, and they don't care about this. According to the Blaze, Jordan Neely's dad abandoned him in childhood. They don't care about that. What's the cause for Jordan Neely acting that way on the train? What's the cause of him having 42 prior arrests, according to Newsweek? According to the Blaze, this is from the Blaze at least, Jordan Neely's dad abandoned him in childhood. Neely's stepfather, get this, Neely's stepfather strangled and disposed of his mother when Neely was 14 years old. Isn't that amazing? Just think about it. Your stepfather, according to the report, kill your mama and get rid of the body at 14. Restoring the family is the only hope for America, and it's the last thing that these people want. They don't want you to restore the family. They don't want God and Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, woman over children. What the? That might work. And how will we divide you if you're living in that order? How will we divide you? They say. They do everything they can to prevent from restoring the order given to us by the Father. They don't want you to love the Father. And remember when riding the subway was so nice, you just jump on there and go, and you sit there, drink your little coffee, read your little papers before they got all these computer things. And it was just so nice and clean. And remember when America used to be beautiful? Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful is gone now. They have defunded the police. They have put all the wrong people in the right places to destroy America. They are pushing hate instead of love. They are blaming others instead of encouraging you to take responsibility for your own life as an adult individual. They're attacking others and blaming them for their own misery. And the subway is a junkyard dog. Remember that song, Junkyard Dog? No, you don't remember that either, huh? What the?
I don't know that one either. I don't love a doggone.
I'll be doggone if I work all day. Amazing. You remember that, huh? Remember when the subway used to be really nice in America, and then over in other countries, they were messed up. You were scared to go over there. Now you want to be over there and not here. This is from the Revolver. We have a broken country now. This is from the Revolver. Photos of subways around the globe that show just how far America has fallen. Watch this from the Revolver. So where's that?
This is Milan, Warsaw,
Look how neat those trains are.
Munich,
Look how beautiful they are.
Moscow,
See there? Hey, Putin.
Stockholm,
See there?
Tokyo,
Wow. No trash, no.
North Korea, New York City,
New York City, USA. New York. Isn't that, look at that. Our own country, it's gone. Wow.
Milan,
Look at that. Look how clean they are.
Warsaw,
Everybody relaxing, the white folks happy.
Munich,
Look how happy the white folks. Ain't worried about no blacks running around carrying on.
Moscow,
Nice.
Stockholm,
Watch the cleanliness.
Tokyo, oh,
Where's the rice?
North Korea,
Nice.
and New York City.
Look at New York, USA. Look at that. Look at the blacks laying around on there. Like they're at home. Just comfortable in their mess. It was too clean for them before. They're like, what the? Y'all need to pull away from the crowd, pull away from the blackness and all that so you can see what they're doing to you and how you're being controlled and you're not in control, how you're being used for evil around the world, really. Why don't you wake up? Wake up. And I was talking about how they use all these different words over and over again, and they change them, and they use them over and over and over again until if you're not a person that's an individual and in control of your own life, an individual, think for yourself and not a part of the crowd, you'll get caught up with it too and not know it. And they have been using this word race so much that it's just ingrained in the generation after generation mind. It's not real, but they have written about it over and over again, used it over and over again, that even though racism does not exist, there are people who will believe in it, though it does not exist. Like with that black boy up in New York. Those black people and stupid white people out there protesting, they don't have an idea what's going on at all. But they heard the word racist. They saw a white man and a black guy, and they called it racist. And some people, it's been reported that there was a black guy holding the black guy down as well. But they keep that kind of off, if it's true, so that may stop the overreaction of other people. They don't want anything to stop it. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to know that you're smart. I want to give you an example of how they have rewritten this word over and over and over again, speak about it over and over, with everything they call racism now. This is from Tablet Magazine. Tablet Magazine. Countless articles have been published in which journalists take for granted the legitimacy of theory about race and identity. Watch this from Tablet Magazine.
How the Media Led the Great Racial Awakening, August 4th, 2020, from Tablet Magazine. Here is a sampling of the titles of opinion pieces and news stories published over the past month by the country's two most influential newspapers, The Washington Post and The New York Times. When black people are in pain, white people just join book clubs. Black activists wonder, is protesting just trendy for white people? To white people who want to be, quote, one of the good ones. Consider the graph below, which displays the usage of the terms racist and racism as a percentage of all words in 4 of the nation's largest newspapers from 1970 through 2019. What we see over the past decade is a continual, dramatic increase in usage of the terms racism and its variations. The explosion in the usage of racialized terminology isn't simply a neutral reflection of an increase in racial incidents. What the data suggests is that editorial decisions over the past decade at some of the most powerful media outlets about what kind of language to use has stoked a revival of racial consciousness among their readers by introducing and then constantly repeating a set of words or concepts.
Amazing. See that? And if you're a part of the crowd and you're not thinking for yourself, you're not going to pay attention to that. Isn't that amazing? Just when I was growing up on a plantation, Jim Crow law existed, and all that, I didn't hear the word racism. That's all I hear now. And if I wasn't in control of my own life, meaning an individual, I'll be saying the same thing. But I know that racism does not exist. And so Sean is here, my producer, and he gave me this amazing article here this morning during the meeting. What did you think about that when you saw that?
It's amazing. It went up, 1,500%, I think, in the Washington Post. It went up in 10 years.
Whoa.
The mentioning of these terms. And it's not just the mentioning of terms like racist, racism, inequality, systematic, those type of words. It's also the relationship with those words and, whiteness or white people. The closeness, the lexical closeness of those words increased, 1,500% in 10 years.
Wow.
And this was before Trump. This was, started before Trump was in.
Yeah.
So,
this was going on before the Great White Hope even.
Right. And then when people, are influenced in this way, whatever's wrong with them to allow them to be influenced in this way, they go out looking for racism.
Yeah.
They'll find it even when it doesn't, it exist. They'll think it's more of a problem than it is.
A white person would just look at them and they'll call it racist in their mind.
Right.
Why did that white person look at me? Race.
Yeah. It not only does it not occur to them that it might not exist at all.
Right.
They see it everywhere.
And I know this is true because I've asked both black and whites, does racism exist? And most of the time they say yes. And I say, well, give me proof of it. They can't even prove that it exists at all. This is from the Daily Caller. What's this woman named, Shaw? Ajor Undo stunned fans with her personal view and racially charged commentary during the coronation coverage on Sunday. Watch this from Today and ITV.
The newly crowned King and Queen waving from the balcony that's marked so many historic moments.
There is a bit of me that we've gone from the rich diversity of the Abbey to a terribly white balcony. I'm very struck by that.
Charles, standing on the same balcony he appeared on 70 years ago at his mother's coronation. Then a boy, now a king.
Terribly white balcony.
As the heavens opened, the divine prayer of God Save the King echoed down the Mall.
Terribly white.
Will you solemnly promise and swear to govern the peoples of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland?
Terribly white.
The King is crowned.
White.
Terribly white.
For the first time in coronation history, gospel music fills the Abbey.
That's why white people don't walk around saying that mess.